What comes to mind when you hear the word collagen?
Oh, man. Probably, those tiny, incredibly expensive jars of skin cream sitting under those bright lights at a high-end department store.
Right, exactly. Or if you're like most people today, maybe you're picturing those trendy bone broth pop-ups or those heavily marketed supplement powders that promise to magically erase every single fine line on your face.
Yeah, it has become an entirely commodified concept. I mean, when we hear the word now, we just automatically associate it with boutique wellness, luxury aesthetics, and this very pristine, artificially packaged approach to anti-aging.
But the research we are diving into today completely upends that picture. The clinical data we're looking at, synthesized from the work of researchers like Dr. Z, reveals that the absolute best source of collagen in the entire world, like the undisputed heavyweight champion of cellular structural support, is something most people routinely throw directly into the trash.
Which perfectly frames our mission for this deep dive, because we are going to fundamentally shift how you think about the structural integrity of your own body, and by extension, the food you choose to consume.
Yeah, it's a huge paradigm shift.
It really is. We have to move past this superficial idea of just smoothing out a few wrinkles. We are going to decode the hidden biological architecture that is literally holding your organs, your bones, and your blood vessels together. We'll explore the vast, highly specialized menu of collagen types from type 1 all the way to type 10, and reveal some highly unconventional food sources that provide the exact raw materials your body is, well, desperate for.
And to even get to that wild reveal of the ultimate food source, the research makes it super clear that we have a massive unlearning process ahead of us.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, we have to dismantle a few major dietary myths that are currently starving our bodies of the very thing we spend billions of dollars trying to replace. And the biggest one right now is definitely the plant-based collagen myth. You see these products everywhere now, like vegan collagen or plant-based collagen booster. But the biological reality here is uncompromising. Collagen absolutely does not come from plants, period.
No. It biologically cannot exist in the plant kingdom. Collagen is, by its very definition, an animal protein.
Wow.
Yeah, it is the connective tissue of the animal world. So if you are strictly vegan, relying solely on vegetables, grains, and fruits, you are consuming zero dietary collagen.
So what are people actually buying when they get those plant-based products?
What those plant-based products actually contain are supportive nutrients, primarily a really heavy dose of vitamin C and various trace minerals. And, those are cofactors. They help your body synthesize its own collagen, but they are not collagen themselves.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Okay.
So buying an expensive plant-based collagen powder is essentially like a construction crew showing up to a job site with a cement mixer full of water, but absolutely no cement mix.
Exactly. I mean, you have the catalyst to make the mortar work, but you lack the actual foundational dust and rocks required to build anything solid. You just end up with wet gravel.
Right. Which isn't going to hold a house up.
No, definitely not. Now, that doesn't mean the water isn't important. The research emphasizes that vitamin C is an absolutely mandatory requirement for those structures to hold together. In fact, understanding how vitamin C interacts with collagen perfectly explains why scurvy happens.
Oh, scurvy. Like the pirate disease.
Yeah, exactly.
We always hear about the bleeding gums with scurvy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not an infection causing that, right?
No, it's not an infection at all. It's a structural collapse. When your body builds collagen, the strands have to be twisted into a tight triple helix structure. Think of a very strong, tightly woven steel cable.
Okay.
So for those strands to physically lock together, your body uses enzymes that require vitamin C to function. Without vitamin C, the enzymes just shut down. The cables can't be woven tightly, and the existing collagen structures literally begin to unravel. Because your body is constantly breaking down and rebuilding tissue, a lack of vitamin C means the structural glue holding the tissues of your gums to your teeth basically dissolves. The tissue disintegrates and you bleed.
That is just wild. It's like a real-time unraveling of your body's architecture.
It really is.
But here is the second dietary myth from the data, and this is where I kind of have to question the logic. The research points out that lean meat, like the classic, healthy, skinless chicken breast, is virtually useless for building collagen.
That's right.
But wait, meat is made of protein. And our bodies digest protein by breaking it down into basic building blocks called amino acids, right? And then recombining them.
Correct.
So why can't my body just take the amino acids from a skinless chicken breast and build collagen out of them?
Because it comes down to the highly specific amino acid profile required. Muscle meat, like a skinless chicken breast or a very lean steak, is primarily composed of proteins called myosin and actin. And those proteins are rich in branched-chain amino acids, which are fantastic for building your own muscle fibers. But collagen is a very unusual protein structurally.
How so?
Well, about a third of it is just one specific amino acid called glycine, and another huge chunk is composed of proline and hydroxyproline.
Ah, I see. So the raw materials in a chicken breast just don't match the recipe for collagen.
Precisely. Muscle meat contains very little glycine, so you're feeding your body the wrong ratio of raw materials for connective tissue. It's like trying to build a brick house when the supplier only dropped off lumber.
Right.
You can build a great wooden frame, which is your muscle mass, but you have no bricks for the foundation. Someone eating a modern, super clean diet of skinless chicken and broccoli might look muscular, but they could be completely starving their connective tissues.
And the consequences of that starvation are profound when you look at the raw numbers.
Mm.
I mean, collagen isn't just a minor detail. It makes up a massive 30% of all the protein in your entire body. Almost a third of you is built out of this stuff.
Yeah, and the timeline for our body's natural production is incredibly sobering.
Oh yeah, the age cliff.
Right. Your natural internal production hits its absolute maximum around 17 to 18 years of age. And then by the time you hit 25, the production curve begins a steady, continuous downward slope. The collagen fibers literally begin to fragment and lose their tight weave.
25.
Yeah.
I mean, you're barely into adulthood, and your structural integrity is already on the decline.
Yeah, it's pretty alarming.
And if we aren't getting the right raw materials from lean meats, and our natural production is dropping, things start failing. And the data forces us to look way past the mirror here. Like, this isn't just about avoiding wrinkles, It's about vital organ function.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the vascular system, because the connection between collagen and blood pressure completely caught me off guard.
Yeah, it is a critical paradigm shift in how we view cardiovascular health. Your arteries are not rigid lead pipes. They are highly dynamic, flexible tubes. They have to expand and contract with every single pump of your heart to manage the sheer force of the blood flowing through them. And that elasticity is provided entirely by collagen.
Wait, so high blood pressure isn't just a matter of having too much cholesterol clogging a pipe or eating too much salt and retaining water. It's actually an elasticity problem.
It is often fundamentally an elasticity problem. When arteries lose their collagen density over time, they lose that ability to stretch. They become stiff and rigid.
Wow.
From a pure physics standpoint, if your heart forces the same volume of fluid through a hard, unyielding pipe rather than a flexible tube that can expand to absorb the pulse, the pressure inside that system skyrockets. That rigidity is a direct mechanical pathway to hypertension.
So if you imagine the body's collagen as these incredibly strong, stretchy rubber bands holding a complex pressurized machine together, the machine only works if the bands can flex.
It's a great way to look at it.
But the research also points out we aren't just slowly losing these rubber bands to the natural aging process. We are actively destroying them with our daily habits.
Yes. We are accelerating the degradation, primarily through modern diets heavy in junk food, refined sugars, starches, and processed seed oils.
Right. So eating heavily processed, sugary foods is essentially like leaving those essential biological rubber bands out in the hot summer sun to dry rot and snap.
Exactly. And the underlying chemistry of that dry rot is a process called glycation.
Okay, what is that?
When you have high levels of refined sugar in your bloodstream, those sugar molecules physically attach themselves to the protein fibers of your collagen. And this forms what are literally called advanced glycation end products, or AGs.
AGs, I mean, the acronym is almost too perfect.
It really is. And this bonding happens without any enzymes controlling it. The sugar just forcefully cross-links the collagen fibers together. So instead of sliding smoothly over one another to provide elasticity, the fibers become fused, stiff, and brittle.
So every time you eat a heavily processed meal,
Yeah, every time you consume a highly processed high-sugar meal, you are chemically fusing your collagen fibers together, actively destroying their ability to stretch.
man. So we desperately need it to keep our organs functioning, and our modern diet is both destroying what we have and failing to supply the right amino acids to replace it.
Exactly.
But as you dig deeper into this research, you realize that replacing it isn't quite as simple as just, eating more collagen.
Sure.
Because the body doesn't just use one universal recipe. If the collagen in your arteries needs to stretch, but the collagen in your bones needs to be rigid, they can't be made of the exact same structural weave.
They absolutely aren't. We have to decode what we call the collagen alphabet because the physical demands on a knee joint require entirely different mechanics than the tissue keeping an artery stretchy, which is different again from the matrix keeping skin tight.
Right.
The body utilizes different structural variations, and the medical data we are looking at specifically focuses on the unique roles of types 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10.
Okay, let's walk through how these actually function, starting with types 1 and 3, which seem to be the most abundant. The data shows these are heavily concentrated in fish skin, chicken skin, and traditional bone broth.
Yeah, so types 1 and 3 provide tensile strength. They are the primary structural cables that support skin elasticity, meaning they literally prevent your skin from sagging downward under the continuous force of gravity.
That's what people want from those creams.
Exactly. But they also form the dense, rigid matrix of your bones. Your bones aren't just solid calcium. They are a matrix of type 1 collagen that calcium binds to. Without type 1, your bones would be as brittle as chalk.
Wow, okay, so that's the heavy-duty structural cable. But then we have type 2, and the research notes this is found almost exclusively in cartilage. If you think about the crunchy white ends of a chicken leg when you're eating a drumstick, that's what we're talking about. Why is type 2 different from the cables in our skin?
Because it has to handle compression, not just tension. While types 1 and 3 are woven tightly to resist stretching, type 2 is specifically engineered to be a compressible, shock-absorbing mesh.
Ah.
It is the dedicated joint builder. It forms a looser web that acts like a sponge in your knees, hips, and shoulders, absorbing the physical impact of walking and running. If you are making a stew at home, leaving those crunchy cartilage bits in the pot to dissolve into the broth is exactly how you extract type 2.
That makes perfect sense mechanically. It's like hiring different specialists for a renovation. Type 1 is your exterior decorator making the walls look good, and type 2 is the carpenter fixing the hinges.
Right. I love that analogy.
But then we get to the highly specialized variations, types 5 and 10. The research explains these are found in organ meats, lungs, liver, brain, as well as deep inside bone marrow, and in that incredibly thin, papery membrane just inside an eggshell. What is their function?
Well, types 5 and 10 aren't building macrostructures like femurs or skin. They operate as the microscopic scaffolding.
The foundation experts.
Yes. They penetrate deep into the cellular level to maintain the integrity of cell membranes and the fine network of tissues surrounding organs. They actually help regulate how the thicker collagen fibers are organized.
But practically speaking, this sounds like a dietary nightmare.
How so?
I mean, am I supposed to map out my meals so that I'm eating chicken skin for tensile strength on Monday, cartilage for shock absorption on Tuesday, and brains and egg membranes for cellular scaffolding on Wednesday? How is a modern person supposed to get this massive, diverse array of collagen types?
It's a fair question, and it really highlights how fragmented our approach to nutrition has become. We try to isolate everything into specific daily doses, but the biological solution isn't to meticulously track each type. It's to consume the biological structures where these types naturally coexist in massive concentrations. We need potent, whole food sources.
And this is where the research reveals the absolute, undisputed heavyweight source of complex collagen in the world. And it is entirely unexpected.
Oh, it really is.
It is the rooster comb, that red, fleshy, jagged crest sitting right on top of a rooster's head. Most people in the modern world would look at that, assume it's just decorative or completely inedible, and throw it straight in the garbage.
Yet, it is an absolute biological powerhouse.
Yeah.
We are talking about a tissue that is up to 90% pure collagen by weight.
90%.
Yes. It is essentially an exposed structural matrix. But it isn't just the staggering density of the collagen that makes it so valuable, it's what is woven inside that collagen. The rooster comb is packed with a massive concentration of glycosaminoglycans, or GAGs.
Okay, so if the rooster comb is 90% collagen, what exactly are glycosaminoglycans doing in that remaining matrix to make it so valuable?
So if the collagen fibers are the rigid steel rebar in the concrete of your body, GAGs are the highly specialized water-holding gel that surrounds them.
Okay.
GAGs are long, complex carbohydrate chains that carry a strong negative charge. And because of that charge, they strongly repel each other but aggressively attract and bind to water molecules. Hyaluronic acid, which you might recognize from premium skincare, is a type of GAG.
Wait, really? So they basically act like an internal hydration pump, pulling water into the tissue to keep it plump and functional.
Exactly. They keep the whole structural matrix hydrated and compressible. GAGs are the master rebuilders of joints, skin, and fascia, which is the connective tissue wrapping all your muscles. And just like the collagen fibers themselves, our internal supply of GAGs plummets with age and is heavily degraded by poor diets. The rooster cone delivers both the steel rebar and the hydrating gel in one perfect biological package.
And the proof of how powerful this specific tissue is lies right in the modern beauty industry. The clinical literature points out that plastic surgeons have, for years, literally extracted this exact hyaluronic acid and collagen complex directly from rooster combs to inject into people's faces for premium anti-wrinkle and plumping treatments.
Yeah, the irony is profound. People will happily pay thousands of dollars in a sterile clinic to have the biological extract of a rooster comb medically injected into their dermal layers to look younger and tighter. Yet the foundational science indicates you can achieve systemic whole-body structural benefits repairing not just your face, but your arterial walls, your aching knees, and your gut lining simply by digesting it.
Which brings us to the culinary reality of this whole thing. Because if you buy a whole organic chicken from a local farmer, are we saying you just chop off the head and toss it into the soup pot on Sunday afternoon?
Well, in traditional ancestral culinary practices across the globe, that is exactly what happened. The entire bird went into the boiling pot, the comb, the skin, the cartilaginous joints, the bones, everything.
Wow.
A long, slow simmer breaks down that 90% pure collagen matrix and all those gags into a rich, highly bioavailable, easily digestible broth. The heat unwinds the complex triple helixes into gelatin, which your body can rapidly absorb.
Let's be brutally honest, though. Tossing a head into a pot is a bridge way too far for the vast majority of people listening.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, if the rooster comb is simply too extreme for a modern palate, where do we turn for the next best thing?
The research provides highly accessible alternatives. If the comb is out, your absolute best secondary option is chicken feet.
Chicken feet. You see them all the time at traditional dim sum restaurants, but I don't think most people realize they are basically structural medicine.
They are a massive delicacy in many cultures for precisely this biological reason. They don't quite hit the 90% density of the rooster comb, but they are incredibly close.
Really?
Yeah, just think about the anatomy of a chicken foot. There's virtually no muscle meat on it. It is practically nothing but skin, bone, thick cartilage, and dense tendons. Simmering them into a stew extracts a massive volume of types 1, 2, and 3 collagen, along with a heavy dose of gags.
Okay, I challenge everyone listening to push their boundaries and try chicken feet at least once.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone is still balking, what's the entry-level option?
Yeah.
The absolute easiest way to start?
The easiest adjustment for a modern diet is marine collagen through fish skin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, when you buy fish, completely stop buying those perfectly manicured, pure white, skinless fillets. The vast majority of a fish's collagen is stored directly in its skin and scales. By simply eating the skin of a baked or pan-seared salmon, you are taking in a massive amount of highly bioavailable type 1 collagen.
That's super doable.
Very doable. And beyond that, incorporating slow-cooked beef tendons and traditional bone marrow broth simmered for up to 24 hours to fully extract those deeper cellular collagens will completely transform your intake.
Let's bring this all together because the implications here go way beyond a grocery list. If you want to actually heal your body, like if you want to soothe a damaged gut lining, rebuild the shock absorbers in your aching joints, restore the visible elasticity to your skin, and crucially, maintain the flexibility of your arteries to support healthy blood pressure, you have to change your fundamental relationship with meat. You have to stop relying entirely on lean, skinless muscle.
You really do. Lean muscle meat serves a purpose, right? It provides the branched chain amino acids for your own muscle maintenance. But it is not for structural repair. To repair the complex, dense structure of your connective tissues, you need to consume complex, dense structures. You need the whole animal. You need the skin, the dense cartilage, the marrow, and yes, the feet and the comb.
We literally have to look at the parts of the animal that modern grocery stores have conditioned us to view as waste or byproducts and recognize them as the ultimate biological medicine.
Exactly. And zooming out to look at the grand timeline of human nutrition, this data forces a very uncomfortable realization about our modern world. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors ate the entire animal out of sheer necessity. Caloric survival dictated that absolutely nothing was wasted.
Right, hunter-gatherer couldn't afford to throw away the connective tissue just because it was chewy.
No, of course not. And by eating out of that necessity, they were naturally, effortlessly consuming massive therapeutic amounts of diverse collagen types and hydrating gags from the skin, the dense connective tissues, the marrow-rich bones, and the organs. The full spectrum of structural building blocks was integrated into every single meal.
And now,
Today, we process animals on an industrial scale. We take all the most structurally vital, collagen-dense parts and we throw them in the trash. We insist on eating only the soft, lean, purely aesthetic muscle meat.
and then, when our bodies inevitably begin to structurally fail, we turn around and spend billions of dollars on isolated joint supplements, blood pressure medications to force fluid through our stiffening arteries, and those tiny expensive jars of hyaluronic skin cream. We are literally paying top dollar to externally patch up the structural damage caused by our own dietary preferences.
It demands that we ask ourselves a fundamental question about how we live. Are our bodies breaking down? Are our joints failing? And are we aging so visibly simply because our modern palate became too refined for our own biological good? Have we artificially designed a diet that is literally too soft and too clean to keep us structurally sound?
That is something profound to think about the next time you're at the grocery store, staring at those expensive plant-based collagen powders, knowing that the absolute best source of structural healing in the world is probably sitting in a butcher's trash can out back.
Yeah.
Think about the hidden architecture of your body. Think about the incredible complexity of the whole animal. And maybe, just maybe, give the chicken feet a try.